For the first time ever, a professional climber has reached the top of Mount Everest while Snapchatting the entire experience. The world got a rare look at Corey Richards and climbing partner Adrian Bellinger's journey to the highest peak on the planet.
Corey reached the summit without the help of extra oxygen. Adrian was unfortunately forced to turn around earlier, but they are both here now. Welcome, you guys.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah. It's so exciting. You guys just got off a plane.
Yeah.
Literally.
Right?
5 hours
A few hours ago.
That's crazy. You still look awesome. I mean, we've been saying that this whole time. You look great on the mountain. You look great here. So
we're showered.
You're showered.
Sort of. You showered? That's good.
Like this is a shower of wiping under the armpits, that kind of shower. So you're going to get this question a lot, Corey. Clearly, we want to hear about what it was like the summit, but you also made the interactive experience part of it for the rest of the world. What was that like?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I think trying to capture it as it happens can sometimes take you out of the experience, but for me, it puts me in it. And that's always been my job. You know, I'm a photojournalist for National Geographic magazine, and so I think I get criticized a lot. Well, how can you be doing both at the same time? And for me, that was actually part of the experience. How do I translate this and bring it back to people immediately? So for me, it was fun. I think for other people, it can be sort of a distraction. But I had a really good time with it. It is hard to take your phone out and use your hands.
You took your gloves off.
I wear windproof liners under my glove or under my mitts, and can take those out, use them, and then put it away before you get frostbite. But that is a real risk too.
For sure.
I can imagine. I would imagine that embarking on a journey like this, something that you might like about it is that you're sort of isolated. I mean, I know there's other people there, but you get away from it all. But when you're Snapchatting, doesn't that sort of take the magic from it?
I think there's truth for that, and I think different people go to the mountains for different reasons. Corey and I are lucky enough that we spend 7 or 8 months a year outside of the country climbing mountains everywhere. And so if we can find a way to share that experience with other people, that adds to it. It doesn't take away.
So Adrian, what happened when you hit that wall? Take us through that moment and what it's like when the Sherpas and the others tell you got to go back.
Sure. Luckily we did have a team around us. We were climbing with one Sherpa, Palden Namgye, and we also had an expedition doctor on our radio who's done loads of expeditions with us. And so they do help us to make those decisions. Ultimately, it was a really personal decision. I started the day really cold, and the weather forecast didn't quite match what we wanted. And cold's always one of my biggest challenges. So we started climbing at 10 p.m. I was already shivering and sort of uncomfortable. By the time it was almost 3 in the morning, I was just uncontrollably shivering and no longer really able to do basic climbing functions with the ropes and gear that I've been doing for 25 years. And that was really the point where I knew that if I kept going, I was going to create a rescue for everyone else on the mountain or not come home.
What's it like? What's it like when you are in a situation where you're, as you point out, you've been doing this for 25 years, and your brain is telling your limbs, your fingers, this is how you navigate the ropes. This is what you do, but you can't do it. What's that like?
It's scary, first of all. I definitely got scared. At the point where I finally turned around, I was far enough out that I felt like it was dangerous. So there's that side, and then there's just utter disappointment, right? Something I've wanted so much. I felt like I was ready for it. But then the day wasn't my day.
Well, we knew that, Monica and I were on the radio, always monitoring sort of my cognitive state. I was a little bit ahead. And Adrian's always very communicative, right? He's been doing this as an expedition leader for so many years, and he wasn't communicating on the radio. And that was, I think, Monica's first sign that he was just a little bit too cold, because usually he'd be on the radio.
He couldn't shut me up normally.
Yeah, exactly. But instead, he's kind of, his muddled communications, and that was sort of the first sign that something was.
So, Corey, that must have been heartbreaking, though, for you. I mean, here you guys, you're a team, the whole world is watching, and you have to leave them behind.
Well, I wouldn't. Yeah,
left me behind.
Was that overly dramatic? I mean, the way you're telling the story.
Now it comes out.
Yeah, he's so mad at me. I mean, it is tragic. It's very, very. It's you always want to reach that summit with your partner, but at the same time, and we've sort of covered this. Adrian's decision to turn around was the exact thing that enabled me to continue to go.
Right.
So that, I think that speaks volumes to his character, to his experience, and also to sort of that selflessness of partnership, you know. Making that decision is ultimately what enables your partner to be successful. And our whole idea of success has changed over the years. It used to be that if one person or two people stood on the summit of a team of 20, that was a successful expedition. And now it's become this very individualistic thing where everybody has to summit. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I mean, it's always a team effort that puts you there. So even if one person gets there, that's a successful trip.
Yeah. You guys added another challenge, and talking about the fact that you weren't able to make it to the top. Do you think you would have made it if you had oxygen?
For sure, yeah. So I've summited Everest 6 times before with supplemental oxygen, so I knew my body can climb the mountain with oxygen. That's why I had this focus this year of trying without supplemental oxygen. It's a much more difficult physical and mental challenge, and that's what we set up for ourselves. And so I knew I wouldn't put it on just to go to the summit or something like that. I would rather turn around without this trip.
All right, so you guys have accomplished something that most people will never be able to do, which is you had cell phone reception at the top of Mount Everest. I can't get it in New York City.
Can't get it
How
in the
did that
tunnel.
work? We all followed the Everest No Filter account on
Yeah.
Snapchat, which is amazing. How did you get that cell phone reception up there?
Well,
It's all it's sort of it's magic. Really.
Do it.
Yeah.
The Sherpas can do everything.
Right, because it's not 4G from the summit. Although we did pick up 4G
yeah, we
coverage.
picked up a cell network
Yeah.
from 8,300, the final camp, to the summit, which we totally didn't expect.
hilarious.
Mostly what we're using is satellite internet technology.
Yeah.
Our system weighs about 14 pounds between solar panels, batteries, and the internet terminal itself. And that's sort of the extra work that we did to tell this story, was carrying that equipment.
So what happens next? Where are we going? Where are we
Where are
all
we going? Where are
going with
we
you
all
and your
going? Where are you
Snapchat
taking us?
account?
Where's the next no filter account? I don't know. We haven't decided yet. But I think this fall it'll be back in Tibet and
Nice.
on another 8,000 meter peak called Cho-Oyu. And
But first and foremost, it's like summer, sun,
Yeah, chilling out,
barbecues.
yeah, man,
We both
beers.
lost a bunch of weight.
I know. You still look good. Still look good. Still look good.
Yeah.
felt.
Well,
Corey,
we are
Adrian?
so honored to meet you guys. It's been incredible following your journey. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.